Hello guys, what's up? Welcome to the new tutorial from the SketchUp Arc Studio. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how you can create some realistic render in Enscape. So before we start this video, please like and subscribe our YouTube channel and let's get to work. In this case, we have some type of classical facade design about this building, and you can see the final details and fine details of this Asian architectural house. So as you can see, we have two cars in here and one building, and the back of my side is the empty HDRI with some default objects and assets from the Enscape. So we only have the sunlight power source and we don't need anything, so this rendering should be easy. Let's get to work. I can move in my environment with the W, S, A, and D, and you can help guide with the press H on your keyboard, and you can see this control management and guidelines for your rendering. So I will close it and orbit in my screen like that. I need some type of angle like this to show the better quality of this house with full details, but I don't know how. So first of all, I will go a little bit to the back side, and some place like that can be really good. Don't worry about these places in your render. All of them will be fixed with the Enscape settings. So I will turn on the safe frame to see what happened in my environment. As you can see, right side and left side cut out, and now we have some type of clear cutout screen in here. And it really helps us to create the best shots for our rendering. So because we are in the one point perspective, we can't see the best quality of this house. For the better result, I can change the projection from 1 point perspective to the 2 point perspective. So now the view of this house is much better. So I want to render it from this place or some place like that. It completely depends on you. I prefer to use this angle for my camera shot, something like that, and I think it's done. So I will click on the visual setting in Enscape, and you can see the first window called main bar. As you can see in the main bar, we have styles, camera, and rendering quality. Rendering quality is the final step for the rendering. So I can drag it in here and start my job with the field of view. First of all, at the rendering in all type of rendering engines, you need to select your best camera, FOV, or field of view. As you can see, something like that is really good for this job, or some angle like this. So I prefer to use some type of setting like that for my job, and some number about 64% can be really good for it. As you can see, all the materials related to the color of the car and textures are really wonderful, and you can see the reflections in different sides. So next step related to the outlines. When I increase the outline, I can reach to the some type of sketchy render, but I don't suggest it to you because it's a little bit graphical for your some type of architectural presentations. But right now in the render, we need some hyper realistic results. So I will change it to the 8% because it's normal and exposure is good for now. But when I uncheck the auto exposure, I can re-exposure my screen manually. So I prefer to use manual setting about 50% for it. And I want to only focus on this house, but I don't know how. So I will increase the depth of field, and you can see the changes in the environment. So when I uncheck the autofocus option in here and play with the focal point like that, I can see some type of shiny line in my Enscape real-time rendering. For example, I only want to focus on this balcony and other places near to this facade, so I can play with the focal point and change the number of it, for example 19.22 meter, and Now we have some full blurriness in the environment, but I really don't like that. For this reason, for improving this problem, I can move a little bit in here and reduce the depth of field. Some number about 16% can be normal for this job. So I will click on the image bar in here. In this type of lighting, I can close the visual setting, hold shift and right click and change the time of the day. For example, something like this can be really great for these type of jobs. Somehow near to the 6 a.m., near to the sunrise and morning, but I can use some numbers like 5:48 a.m. and it's really good. When I hold Ctrl U and I on my keyboard, as you can see, I can change the sun direction. So I need some direct sun, something like that, and I can see the shadow fine details in here. So the time of the day is good for me. I can play with it to reach to the best result, something like that. And when I click on the visual setting again in the image bar, I can turn on the auto contrast and it will detect all of the highlights and shadows automatically. But when you uncheck it, you can manually change the shadows. For example, look at this place in here. We have some type of good quality shadows. So when I increase the shadows, I can see some type of more darkness in my environment, but I really don't suggest it for you. So use the auto contrast for the better result, something like this. And next item is the saturation. Look at these yellow and green trees in here. When I increase the saturation, the color of them will be vibrant and completely saturate. So 108% can be really good, and color temperature is some number between 1000 Kelvin to the 15,000 Kelvin. So if you want some warm renders, you can decrease it and you can see the final result and it's really good. So 5200 Kelvin is good right now. I will turn off the motion blur because we don't create any type of animation. Lens flare and bloom options, some complicated elements in rendering. But if I want to say it very easy, when I increase the bloom option, you can see some type of frosted and blurriness on your camera lens. And when I increase the lens flare, you can see some type of graphical flares and God rays in here. But in this case of renderings, we really don't need them because the sun must be in front of the camera. So I will turn off the bloom or make it in the low value about, for example, 8%, and lens flare is something about 44%. So now we have better quality of these house. So vignette is about the darkness in your environment and you can change it manually. So when I increase the vignette, you can see the changes and we don't need these type of renders because it's a little bit artistic. So something about 10 and chromatic is about 4 can be really good for this job. At the atmosphere, I will turn off the fog to see some type of sharp and better result of my job and some brightness. One of the important elements in rendering related to the sun brightness. When I increase the sun brightness, you can see the changes in your environment, and hyperlight and GI calculation will work very good in Enscape 3.5.2 at these places or interior lights. But I want to use some number about 94% and it's good for me right now. So night sky is not important, but shadow sharpness. Look at these building and trees and leaves shadows on the facade design. When I increase the shadow sharpness to the 100, I can see some type of sharp shadows. It's good, but it can be a little bit artificial and not realistic. So always use some type of soft shadows. For example, 38% can be a good number for it. Artificial light brightness not useful because we don't have any type of spotlight or a sphere light, and wind parameter related to the clouds and vegetations. But right now we don't need it, so we will turn it off and click on the skybox in here. At the skybox, we have cloud setting, and you can see the result, but I really don't like it right now, so I will turn clouds off. And the final step is the output. So I can click on the file format and change it to the JPG, and my resolution is something about Ultra HD. So when I click on the main bar, right now I want to render my job and increase the rendering quality from the medium to the ultra. As you can see, it takes a little bit time, and after that you can see the final result in here like that. So I think everything is done right now, and time for the rendering. For the rendering, I will click on the closing visual setting, screenshot bottom, and save it on my desktop. So I will select the desktop in here and save my file with some name about Enscape and press save. As you can see, under 12 minutes we create this render, very simple and easy, only with some few tips related to the Enscape material and Enscape asset library. As you can see, visual setting in Enscape works great and helps you in different type of projects. Thanks for watching, thanks for your support. If you like this video, please like and subscribe our YouTube channel, and goodbye.